As you all know, we worked closely with New Holland last year on the project with the 230 and the 315. Those tractors featured power command and auto command gearboxes, but as we were going through the year, we were told about a new gearbox was in development. They launched that gearbox at Agritechnica as dynamic command. Now, when we were at Agritechnica, Gareth caught up with Ben Davies to talk us through the gearbox.
I'm currently looking at Ben, and behind Ben is something that New Holland's extremely excited about. They've been shouting about this from every rooftop over the last few months, this new dynamic command they're calling it. Ben, hit me and hit me hard. What is this tractor? What's different about it?
So basically the dynamic command is the latest in our transmission technology. It's 24 by 24, 3-range semi-power shift with 8 power shift gears within each of the ranges. So it uses dual clutch technology. So you always have 2 clutches engaged at any one time. You have a forward clutch and an even gear on the forward clutch or the odd gear. So you basically shift sequentially from an odd gear to an even gear, so there's no break in torque path at any time. There's a true power shuttle on the transmission, so it really does give you a very, very good performance for forward and reverse. So for like clamp work in the UK is exceptional for that
So
application.
we've moved away from the not being able to reverse back at high speed.
Exactly, yeah, we've gone for a true power shuttle. Also on the tractor there's a huge amount of software features that give the customer a lot of customer benefits, such as the brake to clutch feature, so we can basically proportionally control the clutches on the transmission using the brake pedal. So for a loader application, power harrow drill when it comes to the headland, round baling's an ideal example. So the alarm goes off on the baler, the guy puts his foot on the brake, and then kills the transmission, dimps the bale off.
Effectively full pedal mode.
Yeah, it's the same it's almost the same to drive as the CVT. So you get your brake to stop, take your foot off the brake, proportionally engage the clutches again, and it drives off.
Is it designed more for field work, road work, or is there an overlap in those ranges?
If you like to describe it, it's probably the Swiss Army knife of tractors. So it's basically very good for field work, but also for haulage work as well. So you loader work, it's really has to be designed in that way, because the T6 range is probably working in the most complex sector of tractors, because it's starting from a loader right the way through to a power harrow drill combination.
Well, the question that every guy that drives either a range command or a power command is going to want to know, so how do we drive it? What do we do? What are we pressing? What's it like?
So there's two different options available inside the cab. You've got the armrest, there's a fixed multifunction handle, so it's basically fixed, and then we have an advanced version. On the advanced version, you push the stick forward and it does an upshift, you pull it backwards and it does a downshift. You press and hold it, it'll go sequentially through every gear. So it's a bit like if you go back the old 70 series concept where you have the side shift, this is forward and backwards. You also have the current logic where the upshift and the downshift.
And that mimics the auto command?
It's the concept of pushing it forward and backwards, similar concept to the auto command. So you basically upshift and downshift. So
how do we change our range?
So you range change, you push the button on the back. There's a range change button like you have on the range command today on the back of the multifunction handle, and the upshift button. And at the same time, you don't have to go through all the way through the gear ranges. So you don't have to go to B8 to shift to C1. So if you go to B6 and you press the range change and upshift, it's like a smart range shift and it'll skip to C1. The same when you're coming down, you don't have to go through every gear. So it's very, very quick to go up to speed on this particular tractor. It really is a true power shuttle. You've got two clutches on the very front of the transmission that actually control the forward and reverse direction.
Is the electro shifter, the power command as we call it, will that be a gearbox of the past now once this gets going?
No, we're going to still continue to offer the electro command transmission, because there's still going to be a segment of customers that want that simple transmission, such as the vegetable grower that just wants it on like a harvesting rig, so they set it at a certain speed and that's it. So you'll see the entry level, if you like, or the customer segment that wants the 16 by 16. You then have a big park of tractors in the middle that wants a dynamic command, so a semi-power shift stroke full power shift concept, and then you'll still have the auto command CVT requirement, again for very specific application, such as
Have you done any official testing, not your own testing? Like, have you been to the DLG with
We
any
have
of
been
them?
to the DLG, and we've got the back-to-back results showing the dynamic command versus the auto command, and the result that's on the windscreen there is basically it's the best fuel consumption on a 4-cylinder tractor that's ever been tested in the DLG as of up to today.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got 258 grams per kilowatt hour of fuel and 23 grams per kilowatt hour of AdBlue.
So you're really expecting big things from this?
Very much so, yeah.
The actual range of tractors behind you, that's the first time I've seen a 175. Talk me through.
So the 175 is effectively the largest in the 4-cylinder range of the T6. So it's 145 horsepower rated unboosted, and then when you go with the engine power management, it goes up to peak power at 175 horsepower.
And is there a 6-cylinder version available
it's
still in the
something
T6?
that we are developing, but it's it's still work in progress, let's say.
So this is the largest tractor currently available with the new gearbox?
With the new gearbox will be the C6.175, and in the future we will have a 6-cylinder model available. This gearbox really is a derivative of the 16x16 and the auto command. It's an amalgamation, because today we have dual clutch technology already in our auto command transmissions.
Yes.
So we pre-engage the synchronizer and then we swap a clutch, so you never actually engage in the synchro and the low. So we do that today. So you'll see this concept in the future be developed expanded out. So,
well, just using my head and thinking through what you have said, would it be a fair comment to say that as you develop that and get bigger, that gearbox in theory will be more efficient than your auto command because it's always selecting a mechanical gear?
Basically, yeah. I mean, if you look from an efficiency point of view, a mechanical transmission gives you the most efficiency from a mechanical point of view, but then from an operator point of view, is not as comfortable, so therefore you're less productive. You can only do so many hours of a day working with a mechanical transmission. Auto command is the opposite end of the scale. So yes, you can have a very, very comfortable tractor, but then you've obviously got a knock-on effect of certain impacts of that. So yeah.
Wow, you seem to be into this gearbox, Ben.
Yeah. If you want to have a walk around the actual transmission, we can do it. So basically this transmission was really designed all around, efficiency was one of the main things that we wanted to do. We went out with a huge, let's say, questionnaire to lots of our own customers to understand what their requirements are for a new gearbox. So that's where you really start at the beginning of the product development process. So then the things that came back were we need more working gears in the field, we need a true power shuttle, we need X number of gears in the working range, but we also want to have all the way up to 50 kph.
So is that fair to say that whenever your list was analysed down, top of the list was the power shuttle?
For a certain customer segment, yes. From a certain customer segment, yeah. But when you actually look at the cumulative average for all the customers that request, transportation and field work was probably the biggest, let's say. So
yes.
So then, as we said, efficiency is another key driver that we're all, everybody's looking to. At the end of the day, fuel consumption is the thing that the customer can see off his bottom line. That's what they need to, you need to have an efficient transmission. So, as you can see, really around the transmission, it's a very, very simple concept.
Yeah.
Cartridge design, so the actual clutches and the odd and even gears are all mounted on this side cover. So at the very front of the transmission, the power comes in through the engine, and then it goes in to this drive gear here. That drive gear is mated onto this bottom shaft, which is effectively the even shaft. So all the even gears and the even clutch are located on the bottom, and then the odd gears are all located here. A lot of the work, if you like, on this transmission is done with this front section. So you've got your odd gears at the back here, and you've also got your reverse clutch at the very back. At the bottom here, you've got the forward clutch and the even gears. So basically what happens is, power comes in from the engine, you're in first gear, so it's going through this forward clutch, it comes back towards my direction, and drives this gear here. Yes. That mates with this gear here. Yep. That drives basically back up onto this shaft. Yes. So but it's all mechanical. It's very simple. So you've only ever really got two clutches engaged at any one time. So that's why, from an efficiency point of view, it's very good. You
already pre-select them.
You've already pre-selected. So so basically, if I'm in first gear, the power flow is going through this clutch, back up into here, down this shaft, and out of that rear. So the synchronizer is in the rear there. So basically in first gear. Yeah. It then goes back onto this top shaft in the centre of the gearbox and down, and then you see at the back of the transmission you've got your range sections. So you've got three there, which is basically A, B and C range. 4 odd gears, 4 even gears. When I swap from first to second, all I'm doing is swapping the pressure from this clutch to this clutch proportionally. At the same time, you see here we've got a speed sensor, we've got this phonic wheel. So then basically you swap from odd to even. At the same time, when you're accelerating, so within the software, we know if the tractor's accelerating or decelerating. You can see the torque on the engine, so we then calculate, is the tractor speeding up or slowing down? If it's speeding up, you then pre-select third synchronizer. We then swap back from the odd gear, even gear, back to the odd gear, just with the button, that's it. We then do exactly the same, so all you're doing is basically swapping when you're going from first to second to third between these 2 clutches. That bottom clutch is always permanently engaged. That's it. Then basically if you want to do a range shift, you shift your synchronizers on the back there, so you've got your 8 gears within each range. The overlap within each range is very big. So that's why you can see a number of solenoids on the side there. You've effectively got 1 for each gear.
They've been counted.
Yeah.
He's them all counted.
So if we've got 3 ranges, why have we got 1 extra solenoid? Because we've only got 3 ranges, so we have 2, 4, got another 4 there is 8, and we have another 4. So then we have 4 for the bottom shaft, and we need the 4th one to put the high synchro back into the neutral position, because you need to basically, once it's in that position, you need the 4th. Well, everybody says, well, we've only got 3 ranges, why do I need 4 solenoids?
Sees it to get there,
So it's basically to be able to get out of the high range, otherwise you have a lot of noise. There is, I think that's for the lights probably flashing. So,
what colour would you like, boys? Will we go green?
blue if you don't mind. But yeah. So,
I was going to say that gearbox is doomed for failure, boys. I'm not sure that should be in there. It's something that's, I think, from the range of tractors that would be used, certainly within our country that we know about, I think it'll be a very welcome gearbox. Sure, you know the saying, the power command and the range command's maybe getting long in the tooth, and as you say, yeah, whilst it's still there as an option, I think this, but from what you're saying, Ben, this seems to be the real deal.
I think we've got it's a very good potential with this transmission.
And then, as you say now, it's a case of taking your time. You've got the tractor that you're happy with, it's developing it, getting it tuned to whatever.
No, for sure. I mean, there's been a huge amount of activity because you can see how simple the transmission is. Really, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in the software to make it. The customer doesn't have to do it. It's simple to use.